Hello, Internet. I'm Matt.
I'm Monster Punter.
And this is the Parallax Scrolling Podcast, where we give you our perspective on video games and the news that affects them. Sometimes, when we're available. This has been a rough month. My dad was in the hospital for 3 weeks, so I haven't really had time to be available to record. So this one's kind of on me. Sorry, folks. But I have been able to take time, because I know some of our dear viewers are keenly interested in this. I have been able to take some time, and I am working on getting footage to record my top 20 Metroidvania episode. I know we've talked about it for the past couple of years, it seems. It's happening, all right?
But you actually have the list together and you're just recording now?
No, I have the actual list.
Okay, so the list is done.
Yeah, the list has been done. It's just been a matter of now I have to sit and record footage, and then I have to be able to record footage that's appropriate for our channel, let alone YouTube. So I have to be very particular about what I record. So I'm in the process of it, so don't worry about that. In the meantime, though, I've been playing a couple games. I finished Fantasia Neo Dimension.
And?
It's a good game. It's a good game. I disagree with people who say that you need to go to New Game Plus before you beat it, because there is a quest line that starts from like the beginning of the game and ends towards the end of the game, and it allows you to access...
Isn't that called the story?
No. That's why it's called a side quest.
I'm just saying.
It's on the side of the story.
I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah, no, it has nothing to do with the actual story plot. It is a side.
I've been on this long quest since I started the game. It's almost over now.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, anyways,
it's just the story.
it allows you to access New Game Plus, which allows you to keep your weapons and levels, and allows you to get they increase the amount of XP you earn and things like that, so you can try and get stronger to fight the final boss. I thought that was dumb. Like, I like the fact the idea is there, but I thought that was dumb that I was the tactic to do. So I went and fought the final boss anyways. I won, and it was pretty intense. He actually has a move. When you get him down to about 50,000 to 60,000 hit points, he has a move that if you don't defeat him in 5 turns, game over.
Oh, fun.
Just instant game over. Doesn't matter. Like, oh, lovely. So, but I managed to pull it out of my butt at the last minute. I won.
Okay.
I literally had 1 turn left. I was like, I'm not going to make it. I managed to pull it off. Very, very rewarding fight for me. The one thing I would say for anybody who's going into it is understand that when you get into the second act of the game, like there's really 2 halves of the game. Once you actually get into the second act, every boss has a gimmick. Every boss has a gimmick. For example, there's a boss that constantly spawns minions. If you kill the minions blow up, and then you take a ton of damage.
Oh, fun.
And since you have characters with area attacks, you will have multiple explosions in 1 round. So you have to have specific abilities or specific equipment in order to fight bosses, in order to progress the story. So be prepared to make a lot of adjustments and be prepared to lose a lot of fights. Yeah. But otherwise, it was really cool. I also then had an opportunity to play... just because of timing is short enough. I started and played Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's a fun game. There was one issue. Like, I had a couple glitches that were kind of like nothing, but I did have one issue. There's a point where you have to collect these crates. You have to open up these things to get tech parts to increase your suits or mods for the suits. There's one crate that you have to do during the event. I think it's the only way you can get to it. Because I went back to the place. It was like an enemy base. I went back to the base after the fact, and I couldn't get into the room where the crate was. So I had to start the event over again. to get into the room to get the crate. Beyond that, nothing too bad. It's a fun game.
Yeah, Miles Morales is a great game.
Yeah.
Played it when it came out.
I'll be looking forward to playing Spider-Man 2 here in the near future. But I think I'm going to play something else for a little bit because I don't want to have I just don't want it to be a run-on Spider-Man fest in my head, you know? So I want to be able to take time to enjoy those games.
Yeah, that's my job. I'm the one who plays 10 games in the same series straight.
Yeah, you're the guy with no life.
What are you talking about?
But yeah, other than that, really not much going video game-wise other than that at the moment. What about you?
I've played the City of Wolves demo. Me and my friends played it the other day. I played basically all the characters, Terry, Rock, and Hotaru, and some of the others that are in there.
I forget his name, but did they have the big eagle guy?
No, he's not in there, at least not yet.
Oh, man, I think it's fun.
But the controls take some getting used to, the way it's set up. But I think it's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
It looks gorgeous, right?
And the art style is interesting and cool at the same time.
Nice.
You'd have to see it to really understand. But they've done a nice job. And the game still has some months to cook. I hope that they use this time to button up everything that I need to.
Yeah.
But right now, the base is pretty solid. I like it.
Cool. Speaking of art direction, I want to hop on Miles Morales one more time real quick. I like the one Into the Spider-Verse outfit.
Yeah.
And it gives you that suit mod that lets you explore, live in the Spider-Verse kind of. I started webbing around the city for a couple of minutes. I had to stop. I could not play the game like that. It might look cool for the movie. It was disorienting playing it in the game. But art direction, it was cool. And I loving games with good art directions lately. They're doing some really cool stuff. Like Fantasian with the dioramas, and yeah. Keep going, game developers. We appreciate it.
Indeed.
Any other games?
Yeah, I played the Monster Hunter demo some more.
I did too. Finally fought a Gypsaros.
Yeah,
it was underwhelming.
He was super easy.
He had new attacks though. He did have new attacks. His tail is now super stretchy and rubbery. I kept trying to cut it off. Couldn't do it. Still.
I also started playing Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's a solid game. I think it's probably like an 8 out of 10, but the art style in the game has always been I've always been drawn to the art style, but the characters themselves have been kind of bland to me. But
the way they're written.
But I still keep it. The fighting's good, and the story seems good enough so far.
Let's face it. There is no character better written than Luane.
Okay, he's not in the game yet.
He better be.
Yeah.
I'm very sad.
He's not there yet anyway. And yes, I agree. Luane is
the best written character in the entire series. There's no argument.
If you guys have an opportunity to play Luane in Grand Blue Fantasy versus the fighting game,
you absolutely should.
You absolutely yes.
You are not playing one character. You are playing three technically.
Yes.
And they break the fourth wall a lot.
They're hilarious.
They're awesome.
I think they're great.
They
fantastic. Are great.
They're like my main in that game. I have to main them. They're so good. So good.
But overall, I think it's going to be a shorter game from what I can tell right now. But seems pretty good. I can't complain.
Cool.
And I don't, hold over till I can start playing Monster Hunter. But we'll see how much time I have for Monster Hunter when it comes out, because I'm in the middle of my busiest season at work right now, so I don't get much time anyway.
It does have crossplay though, yeah?
I believe with PC players, yes.
Okay. I have to look into this some more, because I got somebody's going to be playing on Xbox and somebody's going to be playing on PC.
Oh, you're talking about Monster Hunter. I thought you were talking about Grand Blue.
No. Monster Hunter.
No, Monster Hunter's definitely crossplay.
It's falling. Okay. Yeah, because they were telling me last night, you should get it so that we can play. And I'm like, well, it's like money is this thing that exists in the world. So yeah. Well, speaking of money being a thing that exists in the world, I'm going to go over some comments from a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And the first one I'm going to start with, they're both from that one dude. Shout out that one dude. Thank you so much. So this first one, he was regarding the price of GTA 6 being $100.
Oh, yes.
And he says, if they actually charge $100 for GTA 6, that would be crazy. I hope that doesn't become the normal price tag for AAA games. I'm too broke. Amen, brother.
I think here's the thing. Like, if they start making games $100, I think the laws of supply and demand will start to take hold a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah, games will quickly drop in price after people are like, no, I'm not going to buy games anymore.
Quick economics lesson, real quick for everybody. There's something called elasticity of demand, and anything that's more elastic is very responsive to pricing. Things that are inelastic, when price changes, their demand for that product doesn't really change. Inelastic being something like gas. Video games are definitely elastic. And, if games cost more, you're going to purchase less of them.
Right.
Gas is different, right? You have to
have gas to get the car going.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if they go for $100 a game, I think you'll see people just buy less of it. In fact, I don't remember the source, but there was a survey for Steam that said only like 33% of copies sold are around launch now. The vast majority of people wait a while or wait for sales. Like, it was at least 1/3 of people wait for a sale to buy a game. And if games go 100% digital, I'm in that camp. I'm just going to wait for deals, really, for the unless.
Well, and that's the reason why there are companies that be like, hey, our game is coming out tomorrow, and when it launches tomorrow, it's going to have a 10% off tag on Steam for a week. So you have 1 week to get it at 10% off for the normal price because they want sales at launch.
But 10% isn't enough to entice a lot of people.
It's not, depending on the game. It's really not.
But either way, my point being is, I think if any game could do it, it's GTA. Tempt people with that $100 price tag, and they'll still do it. But I think, generally speaking,
I don't think it'll set the industry. I don't think it'll change the industry.
I think it's a bad move, and like I said when we were talking about this, it's just one guy's opinion.
It is,
and we should take it as that and nothing more.
Plus, I feel like Rockstar would not do it because they want to do what they did with GTA 5, and they're going to have those shark cards. Like, you buy them to inflate your funds in the game.
Yeah.
So they're going to want that sale more than they're going to want the actual physical copy of the game sold. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, out of the next comment, again from that one dude, we were talking about Xbox going third party.
Yeah.
Right. I'll have to agree with you both on the topic of Xbox going third party if they're going to support other systems. I don't see the point of them still making consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's nice you're in agreement with us.
Yeah.
Because that just shows that you are reasonable and have taste.
And think about this. The only people who, if you only buy an Xbox, you're limiting yourself to the smallest amount of games.
Yep.
Because every single one of your games is available on something else.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah. Well, like I said when we were talking about it before, it literally sounds like they're saying like, well, we're going to put our games out on all these systems, but they're not going to be as good as they are on our system. So you're going to want to buy our system because that's how good it is. We're going to show you how good our games are through our quality. Like,
you tell me that. That's a
dumb business plan.
Tell me that when there's a PS5 Pro patch on their games, because there is going to be. The best way to play Microsoft games on a console will be on a Sony system.
Can't argue that.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much, that one dude, for the comments. If you want to comment, please feel free to give us a little comment in the video down below. While you're at it, if you like what we're talking about, hit the like button. If you don't like it, don't hit that don't like button. Go ahead. Hit the don't like button, but tell us why you don't like it. Give us feedback, folks. We want to grow and expand and reach more people. So it helps us. And then while you're at it, whether you love us or hate us, subscribe. Because that way you know when to love and hate us again.
Mostly hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hit the bell icon because that'll tell you when that happens.
Speaking of hating,
Okay, here we go.
there's an article on How to Geek called "The Hidden Costs of Owning a PlayStation 5."
And boy, are they hidden.
This is one of the worst articles I've read in a while. I don't know how else to put it. So
there's like two things on here that was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, he makes a couple points, but then most of this is just like, what are you doing, guy? So one of the first things he says here is a disk drive. That only applies if you're buying a PS5 Pro. You can buy a PlayStation 5 with a disk drive right out of the gate. You don't, and yeah, the disk drive version is more expensive, but the way the article reads is that the only way you can get a PS5 now is without a disk drive, which is not true.
That's not true at all.
You can get a disk drive with the system. PlayStation Plus, there's a little bit of truth there, but that doesn't even matter. You know, all the free-to-play games, you could play online without a PS Plus subscription.
That makes sense.
So even like the biggest games you can buy, you don't even need a PS Plus subscription to play them online.
My brother doesn't have his PS Plus anymore. He kept telling me that the games every month were just garbage. He wasn't interested in them anymore, so he stopped getting PS Plus. Not only has he saved himself money that he can now spend on better games that he wants, but in the end, he's just happier not being online dealing with toxic people. So it's just it's a toss up.
So the only games that you really need it for is if you want those weekly,
those free monthly games,
or you are going to play a game that's not free to play. Then you need to have it to play online.
Yeah.
So that's just strikes me as like, okay, when you have the most popular games year after year being years old free to play games like Fortnite, it diminishes the need for the PlayStation Plus subscription, but he does make a decent point on that one.
Speaking of this is where the argument kind of loses me a little bit, because you need a PlayStation Plus so you can play multiplayer games. You know what you also need? Another controller.
Yeah.
What?
The next thing is a second DualSense controller. And I don't know what to say other than if you're going to play multiplayer on anything, you need more than one controller, and nothing comes with more than one controller. And that includes like PCs. So
yeah,
that just doesn't strike me as a valid argument.
The only system you don't need to buy a second controller for, technically, is a Nintendo Switch. Because you could turn each Joy-Con into its own separate controller.
Yeah,
no, I'm not saying they're
games,
great.
though.
I'm not saying they're great. I'm saying that's the only way you can have a quote-unquote second controller.
Yeah, but that requires a game to take advantage of just a single Joy-Con.
Right.
I wish the days of systems coming with two controllers still existed, but Absolutely. It just, that's... I don't know if it's a hidden cost comparatively speaking to other things. PS5 compatible peripherals. This one here, I think, is less important nowadays since pretty much all peripherals work on like PCs and things like that too.
Well, and this is more of buyer's choice. Like he's showing a fighting game stick. Like, well, yeah, if you're really into fighting games and you want to have a fighting game stick, you should probably buy one. But if I'm playing an RPG, I don't need a fighting game stick.
Yeah, but the thing is that you need fighting. If you want a fighting game stick, you're gonna have to pay that for other systems too, including PC. Now there are some really cheap button-only controllers I've seen for fighting games. I have a friend who has a couple of those.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's a little bit of argument to be made there, but I don't know. The next thing they say is expandable storage.
That I'll agree with.
That one, yes and no, but my argument is that if you want extra storage on anything, it's going to cost you extra. Is it a hidden cost? I don't know if it's hidden so much as it's just industry standard.
I can see where you're coming from, but I do believe it is something like there are people out there who do not understand that. And like, oh, I need to buy extra storage? I was like, you can either buy extra storage or you can keep deleting the games you're not playing anymore.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, I think that works just fine.
Yeah.
And if you forget the games that you have online library. You can see what all the games you own in your online library and just re-download it if you need to. So that's, here's one where it makes no sense at all to put it as a hidden cost. This one says a longer HDMI 2.1 cable. That is very, very specific to somebody's use case.
It literally sounds like this article is, this is the hidden cost of PlayStation 5 that I have to deal with because I need to have a longer cable because my mom won't let me keep it in the basement. I gotta...
I just think, like, if you need a longer cable, you are in a minority of people at this point. And so
you're in a minority of privileged people.
I don't know about privilege, but
I don't know. I don't have the space to have a longer HDMI cable. I only got 2 feet to work with.
All right, so here's another one that makes no sense to me. A headset. I don't think any system or anything you buy comes with a headset anymore.
And you don't need a headset.
No. Especially with the PS5, you can use the controller to talk to people.
Well, right, but at the same time, like, again, it all depends on what you're playing. If you're not playing anything that requires you to talk to people, you don't need a headset.
Well, unless you want to stop from bothering other people, if that ends up being the case.
Yeah, but then you just buy some cheap dollar store headphones and you're fine.
That's true. Here's one that makes little to no sense. A universal remote.
Well, he can't be bothered to get up and change the input on his own.
Well, no. My point is that if you're going to use your PS5, you can use the controller. Not
every TV recognizes that.
Well, okay.
My folks have a Samsung that will not recognize when I turn the PS5 on to transfer it over. It recognizes the PS5 as a PS5, but it will not automatically change over.
But at the end, but I'm talking about using the PS5 as a media thing.
Yeah.
You can use your controller. And then the last one makes the least sense whatsoever. A PlayStation Portal. I don't know. It's not a hidden cost because it's a specific use case. And if you want to do that...
Yeah, it's a completely separate peripheral device that you don't need to use a PS5.
And anywhere you go.
Yeah.
And...
I need this so that I can hide the bathroom.
Would this have not been on the list if it didn't exist? I mean, like, ye old days, just pack up your console and take it? I mean,
this article just screams first world problems to me. Can I say that?
Yeah, I guess so.
It really does. It screams first world problems.
So I just think at the end of the day, the person who wrote this article...
I don't think we need to throw them under the bus by shouting their name out.
I'm not saying their name.
Okay.
But what I am saying is that I don't think a whole lot of thought went into it.
No, I don't think so either. I think it might have been a deadline. You need an article by this time. The hidden cost of owning a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Because I want one. I don't know.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
All right. Now, there's not a whole ton of mega, like, jaw-dropping news that's happened while we've been gone. However, there was something known as a state of play that had happened, and I think we need to talk about that a little bit. Here's my thing. I think DLCs should not have as big a trailer time as an actual game. I don't feel like we need to sit there and be like, oh, what's this big epic thing? Oh, it's DLC. Like, just say, hey, here's some DLC coming. This is what it's about. Cool. Like a 30-second video. You know, like give me like a minute video for a game and a 30-second video for a DLC, and we're good. That's how I feel. But anyhow, why don't we go through this list? Did you?
I think we should only hit up the ones we're interested in.
Well, absolutely, that's what I'm talking about. But like, you start scrolling through the list. Here's a game. I have no idea what it's about because it's a cinematic trailer. Can we stop doing cinematic trailers?
What game is that?
Game is Saros.
Okay.
It's just I have no idea. I watched the cinema and I'm like, it's a man walking with a gun. Da, da, da. Like,
I've not seen that game before. Man
ever.
Walking with gun?
Ever.
Man,
ever.
That's a new concept. Man walking with gun.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like like, I totally understand you making a cinematic trailer. I do not see it being the point for a video game event where you're talking about upcoming video games, why it's in there. Like, this should have been like, we're going to put this on our Twitter page, and that's it. I'm sorry, we don't do Twitter anymore. X, Blue Sky, whatever the ones are. But, like, you put it out on social media, and that's where the cinematic teaser comes from. And then in the actual, like, state of play, we put an actual game trailer. Because that's what people want to see. People want to see game trailers. Ugh.
Speaking of guy walking with gun.
Oh, yeah. Snake Eater getting remade.
You know, I've never been a Metal Gear Solid fan. I get why people like it.
Right.
But I've never been
all
into
I
it.
know is this game has the longest ladder in video game history.
The longest ladder.
Yep. There's a ladder that's the longest ladder in video game history.
hear that this is one of the people's favorite games out of that series, though. It's supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to check it out, check it out. However,
Borderlands 4 looks good.
Yeah, it does. I almost like they show characters, but I'm like, which one of these are the 4 you play as? Or do you not? Do you make your character this time around? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of interested. So it'd be cool to follow up on this one. But this one actually has a release date for September. So get hyped for September, folks.
And then there's a new Onimusha game coming.
Which looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm really glad they're resurrecting this series. And Capcom has been just making bangers for a while now.
Yeah, they have. They've gotten back on the good list.
Yeah.
They've also they remastered Onimusha 2.
Yep.
So that's going to be coming out this summer, I think. Whereas the next Onimusha is coming out next year. So, but that's fine. I'm totally fine with this coming out next year because I need a little space in my gaming. Just a little, but. Tides of Annihilation, I didn't see anything on this one really. So, did you know anything about it?
I think I saw it, but I didn't. Yeah,
It just didn't strike you.
So this is probably the next one we're going to talk about is probably the most controversial showing at the state of play.
You think so?
Yeah, because it hasn't been very long. Sony showed Days Gone Remastered. The game has not even been out for very long, comparatively speaking. It's getting remasters.
I think it needs a remaster though, because I think this is a game people slept on that they shouldn't have slept on. And a lot of people are regretting that. But now they're all on the next system, so they want to have an opportunity to play the game again. I think it's an interesting choice. I wouldn't say it's good or bad, but I do think it's an interesting choice for them.
My opinion is they could have taken that time and effort and plowed it into a new game. Even maybe Days Gone 2 instead of just a remaster of Days Gone.
Maybe. I don't know how Days Gone ended. I have to get through that.
Yeah. Sonic.
My brother
Racing.
played the beta. He got into the beta. Has been playing this.
Yeah?
He says it is chaotic, and I watched him play a race, and he's right. There's just so much happening on the screen. He was driving his Tails, and he's trying to collect rings and power-ups, and he was bouncing from like 2nd to 10th to 8th to 5th to 4th to 3rd, all over the entire race. He finally ended in 4th place. It was wild. People are constantly slamming into each other. There's constant barrage of weaponry and items. And then there's a chance for the map to go one of two ways every time. There's like these portals that start to open up. And he went on the one as like a pirate ship with like a octopus attacking it or a kraken attacking it. And you're racing on that. And then you start flying your car transforms into different vehicles. Wild. Just utterly
Did he have
wild.
fun though?
He had fun, but he said for him that if it doesn't have a story mode, he's not interested.
Oh, okay. Well,
me, I don't know. I might pick it up. It looked great.
So there's a DLC expansion coming out for Lies of P, which there's a ton of people who like Lies of P.
This requires me to try and finish Lies of P, which is really kind of hard, but yeah.
This is really cool, though. Shinobi is coming back, man. So we have Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi coming.
Yes, because we need Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi to come back.
We do.
And then we need them to follow up with Mega Man and Castlevania. And game developers, we need you to come back to us. That's what we need.
But it's gonna be. I looked cool. I don't know what else to say other than
Shinobi
absolutely looks really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then they showed off
Metal Eden. Okay, here's a fun story. Ready?
Yes.
We were starting to go over the state of play. We were starting to look over everything. And I was on the PlayStation blog trying to look at these games. I come up to Metal Eden on the trailer. I go to click it. And PlayStation blog wants me to put my date of birth in. So I do what I'm supposed to. I put my date of birth in. The correct numbers. I hit the button. They told me I am not old enough to access that content.
That should be flattering.
You'd think. But now when I'm trying to get information for our podcast. And then what it did is because of that, they blocked me out of every other M-rated trailer on the state of play. I'm like, this is stupid. So
I think that kind of wraps up what...
Well, no, there's one more. Go up. Not that one. That one's interesting, but not... Keep going. Nope, that one. Obviously, the Monster Hunter Wilds, they're adding Mitsutsume. That's cool. That's a big deal. So prepare to get soaped up, guys, because that's going to happen. But there's this game called Lost Soul Aside. I have no idea what it's going to do, but it looks pretty. So I'm actually kind of interested in seeing more what they do with this one.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh,
that's all I got.
That's really it. Like I said, there wasn't really much heavy story.
Well, there's news in the PC realm. I guess just to...
Okay, here.
PC hardware realm, I should say.
Speaking of PC hardware, want to have a story?
Oh, gosh.
So I had a conversation with Monster a couple days ago. And I asked him, because he had given me a monitor, and I said, hey, that monitor you gave me, does it have a display port on it?
Which it does.
Which it does. He said, yes, it does. I'm like, okay, cool. The reason I needed to know that is because earlier that day, I was trying to prepare some documents for a completely different project. And while I was in the middle of preparing, something happened and I lost power. And everything, like it was just a quick blip, right?
Okay.
But that quick blip fried my box.
Your box?
My power box.
Okay.
So I had to pull out the power supply. Fortunately, I had the other one on standby. So I took the opportunity, as much of it as a pain in the butt, I replaced the video card and the power supply in my computer. And I was gonna put in a new hard drive, but I don't have the little like shelf clips to put it in. But anyways, I got that all finally done, and I will never, ever build a PC ever again. I am too old, my fingers are too fat, and I just can't do it anymore. So, but
that's why he has me.
Yeah. But yeah, because you're so much younger than I am.
Yeah, but I don't have trouble with that.
Okay, well I do. So, but I'm done doing that stuff. It was a nightmare for me. Got it all done. It's running. It's doing great. But man, I was like, I needed the information for yesterday, and I was like, I gotta get this done. Bloop. No. Thankfully, I was using Firefox. Here's a quick promo to Firefox. Shout out to Firefox. I was using Firefox to get some data made, charts and stuff created, and I was in the middle of it. I saved it to my computer, went to look at it, and that's when everything blipped out. When I got everything loaded back up, like an hour later or so, I loaded up the computer again, went back into Firefox. It remembered exactly what I was doing.
Okay.
So shout out to Firefox. You saved my bacon.
There's one important thing I need to ask you. Did you replace all the power cables throughout?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. The only things that stayed were the ones that come with the case and the data transfer cables for the hard drives.
Well, that's different. I'm just talking about the
the actual cable. No, I got rid of them all.
okay, because they're not standard and they change.
Yeah. No.
At any rate, in PC hardware news, as I'm sure anybody who's interested in that stuff knows, since we last talked, there's been a couple, or I should say 3 NVIDIA video card releases. The 5090, the 5080, the 5070 Ti. Long story short, people, if you have anything from the 3000 series of NVIDIA or higher, like 3 or 4, don't bother upgrading to 5, especially if you're on the 4 series. Not that you should normally upgrade every single generation, but this
it's such
one,
a minor.
yeah,
difference.
the differences are very, very minor. NVIDIA's pushing AI a lot more, which could be cool later when games take advantage of them, but this could be years in the future.
Yeah.
AAA games take years and years to complete now. So by the time they actually start implementing some of these things, you could have I wouldn't say obsolete card, but you'd be upgrading anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
I've been very underwhelmed with them, just comparatively speaking, with what's already out there. You're getting like 10 to 15% bumps for like the 5080, the 5070 Ti. The 5090 was a bit of a higher bump, but the power required across the board has gone up because the manufacturing node hasn't changed. So long story short, unless you need a new video card, I don't suggest upgrading to the latest NVIDIA ones.
Yeah.
And of course, AMD this following week from where we're talking right now should be announcing their new video cards that are coming out. My opinion on those are, I reserve final judgment, but let's just say, unless it's a good price, it's probably don't bother as well. And
Yeah.
if you have used AMD cards traditionally, there might be an argument for like ray tracing, but I don't know. This generation is going to seem very underwhelming, and especially because of the prices on these things. The prices have gone up tremendously.
Yeah, everything's astronomical.
So, that's that. Just quick aside. Oh, and there's been a lot of problems with the 5090, just in general.
That's interesting because there's a streamer I was watching and he's talking about he got a 5090. So hopefully he doesn't have issues.
Well, there's been problems with cables melting, people, some of the specs on the cards being wrong. Like there was a bad shipment and people are missing the ROPs. They called rasterized render. It's part of the raster pipeline. I can't remember what the ROP means at the moment, but they're having 8 fewer than this what's actually listed as what you're supposed to get, and it's causing you to have like 5% slower speed. So there's just even bad cards out there right now.
Lovely.
So,
well, so you heard it, folks. If you're gonna get one, probably don't. But if you're still insisting on it, be super careful.
yep. That's all I got.
Cool. That's all I got. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening to us and sticking with us this time. We appreciate every single one of you. We hope you have yourselves an awesome day, an awesome week. Have a fantastic time playing your video games. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Take care.
Later.